Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking an incredible journey together. We're going to explore the architecture of nature, starting with a massive, zoomed-out look at breathtaking global vistas, and then we'll pen all the way in, right down to the residential backyard just outside your own door. You know, the world around us isn't just some static background. It's actually a meticulously crafted, constantly evolving canvas.
So think about the Earth around you for a second. How do we, as humans, intentionally shape it? And in turn, how do those environments shape our daily lives, our moods, and our communities? It's this continuous, dynamic loop of creation.
Section 1. The macro, defining the global landscape.
Okay, let's dive right in. At its absolute core, what is a landscape? By definition, it's simply an expanse of scenery that you can see in a single view, comprising all the visible features of an area of land. But, as we'll quickly see, that scenery is actually a really complex layering of very different elements all working together. It's kind of like a giant puzzle with four main pieces. First, you've got the physical elements, the solid landforms and water bodies like mountains, rivers, and lakes. Then there are the living elements, the native vegetation and land cover that blanket those shapes. Crucially, we have the human elements, our buildings, our structures, and how we actually use the land. And finally, the transitory elements, things like lighting and weather that can literally change the whole vibe from hour to hour. Put them all together, and they dynamically shape the character of any place on Earth. And these elements are at play on a vast, breathtaking scale. We're talking about everything from windswept icy polar regions to towering mountains and arid deserts. It covers lush island coasts, dense tropical rainforests, and even those beautifully structured agricultural terraces in temperate zones. Every single one is just a unique recipe of those physical, living, and transitory ingredients we just talked about. The most incredible part, these backdrops aren't made overnight. They are the living heritage of a place. They reflect this ongoing synthesis of nature and people, blending physical origins with the cultural footprint of human presence, often stretching back across millennia. This is the dynamic stage we live our lives on. Section 2. The art of landscaping. Now, we need to draw a really sharp distinction here. A landscape is that naturally existing expanse of Earth. Landscaping, on the other hand, is an intentional human activity. It's any purposeful modification that alters the visible features of the land. It's exactly where human ingenuity steps in and meets the natural world. To pull this off, a good landscaper kind of has to act as both a scientist and an artist. They manipulate four pillars. They work with living elements by growing flora. They sculpt natural elements by altering the terrain's shape or redirecting water. They construct human elements like fences and patios. And they design with abstract elements, intentionally using lighting to shift the entire mood of a space. It takes serious skill to blend all of that seamlessly. I actually love this quote from Modoc and Armdacre back in 1960. They noted that landscaping is intended to give a picturesque appearance to a home, but it's highly functional too. It provides shade in the summer, prevents atmospheric dust, acts as a windbreaker, and serves as a visual barrier. Ultimately, it's all about creating an agreeable, cheerful environment. And that historical idea perfectly sets up how we view home design today. Landscaping isn't just throwing some seeds in the dirt, it's actual construction. It's planning driveways, walks, and lawns. When you intelligently landscape a plot, you're literally pushing your living space out into the outdoors. It enhances the beauty, satisfies your family's habits, and, for sure, significantly bumps up your property value. Section 3. Exploring garden varieties. Let's zoom in even closer now. What exactly is a garden? It's a planned outdoor space explicitly meant for the display, cultivation, and enjoyment of plants and nature, usually mixing natural and man-made elements. As a quick fun fact, in British English, garden usually means the enclosed area right next to a building, whereas in other places, you might just call that your yard. What's really fascinating is how many different ways we've figured out how to cultivate these spaces. You've got xeriscapes, which are brilliant low-water gardens using native plants. You have purely ornamental gardens meant just to dazzle the eyes. There are functional food production gardens for fresh crops. And of course, classic flower gardens, mixing wild heights, colors, and textures into a total sensory masterpiece. The sheer variety of features and scales you can play with is staggering. A garden might feature structural heavyweights like grand fountains, dry creek beds, statues, or arbors. And scale-wise, we're talking everything from massive fruit orchards and city boulevard plantings down to a tiny, perfectly curated container garden sitting on a windowsill.
But here's the catch, and it's a really important one. Unlike a wild, untouched landscape, a garden requires your active participation. It demands regular maintenance. Whether you're taking care of a single potted plant or an elaborate layout with dozens of species, a garden is a constant, ongoing collaboration between human sweat and botanical growth. Section 4. The Residential Garden Experience. Picture your own home right now. Today's residential garden takes so many cool forms. Sure, it's the traditional front and backyards, but it's also lush roof gardens towering over concrete cities, sunlit atriums right inside modern builds, intimate little courtyards, patios, balconies, and humble window boxes. Honestly, some large residential gardens can rival small public parks in their beauty and scale. Within these residential spaces, people love to carve out specialized zones tailored perfectly to their own lives. Herb and vegetable gardens put fresh food right on the kitchen table. Rock gardens offer these amazing, rugged textures. Water gardens provide incredible tranquility. And then there's native plant gardening, which is honestly becoming a real game changer today. Native plant gardening goes way beyond just looking pretty. The ecological benefits are huge. Because you're using species uniquely adapted to your specific local climate, you dramatically slash your water use, your maintenance costs, and your need for fertilizers. Best of all, it actively creates thriving habitats for local wildlife, boosting biodiversity right in your own backyard. Section 5. Why Gardens Matter Today. You know, in our hyper-fast modern world, gardens are actually more important than ever. Yes, cultivating soil and nurturing seeds takes real work, and some people shy away from that. But even folks with the tiniest of spaces are finding ways to squeeze in compact gardens. Why? Because the psychological and environmental boosts to our well-being are just too massive to ignore. So it all boils down to this ultimate objective. Whether we're landscaping a sprawling estate or just tending a tiny balcony herb box, the goal is always the same: to create a space that is functional, attractive, and sustainable. A space that lives in perfect harmony with the local environment. It's really about finding our own place within the living heritage of the land. I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Look out your window right now. You are part of this massive global architecture of nature. So how will you intentionally step into that frame? How are you going to shape your own slice of the earth today? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope you feel inspired to step outside and start creating.